This is Debbie Potts going down another rabbit hole to figure out what are the best foods you could be eating to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Are you eating the right type of protein? Let's find out.
Welcome to the Low Carb Athlete Podcast, where we focus on discussing topics to help you burn fat, optimize health, and improve performance in life and sports. Transform the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method. Let's dive in. Here's your host, Debbie Potts.
Hey guys, it's Debbie, and I just wanted to give you a quick little message from one of our sponsors, Element. It's spelled LMNT, but pronounced Element. If you haven't heard about this, Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means there's a lot of salt with no sugar, and it's formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited for those doing a keto, low carb, or paleo diet. And I think this is great for athletes, especially in the summertime and when you're training in warmer climates. Element contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. None of the junk, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers. That's it. I like the unsweetened one because the other flavors do have a little stevia, but stevia doesn't do well in my body. So I prefer the unsweetened Element, and I like the packets because I can throw them in my bike bag when I go on a long bike ride or when traveling, and I can just dump a packet in my water, and it keeps me so much more hydrated. Because remember, we don't sweat out water, we sweat out minerals. So check it out. You've got a nice little gift from them if you use our discount code Drink Element. I'll put the link in the show notes. But using the code Low Carb Athlete, you get a free gift with purchase. You get a free Element sample pack with any order when you order with Low Carb Athlete on our special URL code. So support the podcast, support Element. It's backed by science and we love what they're doing. So try it out.
So what is muscle protein synthesis? It's a process by which muscle cells build new protein molecules. This results in muscle growth or repair. It's a fundamental mechanism underlying muscle adaptation to exercise, dietary protein intake, and physiological stimuli. Whether you engage in resistance training or consume protein-rich foods, particularly those containing essential amino acids, including leucine, we'll talk about. This triggers an increase in the muscle protein synthesis. I never could say that word, synthesis. This increased synthesis contributes to muscle hypertrophy, growth, and helps repair muscle damage caused by exercise. So, as a high performer, as an athlete, as an aging individual, athlete or not, we hopefully are all focused on muscle health. Hopefully you are striving to be not under-muscled. As Dr. Gabrielle Lyon talks about, are you focused on losing fat or are you focused on gaining muscle? We don't want to be over fat. We want to not be under-muscled should be the concern if you want to improve the longevity factors, muscle health, and avoid sarcopenia. And often when we're doing this excessive cardio, we're in a catabolic state. I did a previous episode last week on mTOR versus AMPK pathway. And as with everything, we want to have the right balance that we need to improve our metabolic health, our muscle health, our longevity markers. So the word mTOR is not bad. Everything can be bad, I guess, if we do too much of anything, right? Chronic. So leucine is an important thing I want to note today, is that there's Dr. Donald Layman. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon interviews him often on her show. It's her mentor, best friend. He created the leucine threshold years ago. It's based on the idea that leucine, one of the essential amino acids, plays a role in stimulating muscle protein synthesis. Leucine acts as a signaling molecule that triggers the initiation of protein synthesis within muscle cells. Research suggests that there is a specific threshold of leucine, the intake we need, that is necessary to maximize stimulation of muscle protein synthesis. Now, the threshold intake for optimized muscle protein synthesis, sorry, you're going to be annoyed by me, is typically considered to be around 2.5 to 3 grams per meal. Now, consuming protein sources that provide this amount of leucine within all the other essential amino acids. You can't just take leucine by itself. We need this complete amino acid. This helps maximize the anabolic response in muscle tissue. So this forms the basis for recommendations for regarding protein intake for individuals aiming to enhance muscle health, growth, and repair. And as we've been focusing on it a lot lately, how we train as we age and how we eat and how we prioritize protein even on the plate, so you eat it first, is really a goal. So it's not just keto, eat as much fat as you want, fasting, getting into this AMPK pathway and get cell autophagy, but we have to balance everything out. Not so much fasting, not so much fat. Find the right amount of protein. Carbohydrates are optional. They depend on your performance for your workouts. They're not essential. We have essential amino acids, essential fatty acids, but once again, everyone gets all into one thing, forgets the other. So we got all into nutritional ketosis and eat fat to burn fat, but we forgot about prioritizing protein. So if you did forget protein, you might want to switch your mindset going, okay, I am motivated to improve my future self. I'm recreating my current self so I can be my best version of myself as I age when I'm 70, 80, 90, 100 years old. To do that, I need to improve my metabolic health markers. That includes muscle health, not just VO2 max training. So VO2 max training, we've talked about the zone 2 and the sprint training, but we also need to not forget or neglect the other part of the equation is muscle health, which is lifting weights, heavy weights, especially for females, after you've built up that foundation and worked on your proper form and mechanics and posture muscles, core muscles, stabilizers, and adding in some other variations as plyometrics when necessary. Sprint training, all that we talked about. But the food part is what I want to focus on today because I'll get to the next part. All these posts are always infographics that I find and I share. Crack me up. 30-gram protein meal. Well, now we know Dr. Stacy Sims suggests women 30 grams might not be enough. We might need post-workout 40 to 50 grams of protein. So if we're trying to hit at least 100 grams of protein a day to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, we need that in 30 to 50 grams of protein spread out 3 to 4 hours. So there's blown the OMAD 1 meal a day. That doesn't work anymore if you're trying to focus on muscle health. Unless you're taking essential amino acids, as I've been taking body health amino acid tablets in the morning and at night or post-workout. So if you are going by Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, her calculation is easiest to me. It's share with people, what is your ideal body weight? When did you feel your best? What weight is that? That's how much protein you should be having per day in grams. So if your ideal body weight is 130 pounds, you should be eating 130 pounds of protein throughout the day, not all at once. Break that up, 40, 50 grams, 40, 50 grams, maybe 30 grams. First meal, really hit that higher number. Now, how do you get that? That's what everyone asks. Oh, I don't know. That's so complicated. That's impossible. It is not. Keep it simple. I don't do all these complicated meals. Actually, my husband does the cooking. But weekdays, we just keep it simple. And we just went to Costco, and I sent all these pictures to put them on my Instagram stories. Salmon, grass-fed salmon. Don't buy the wild caught, or that, oh my gosh, don't buy the farm-raised. Get the wild caught. Getting not the processed foods, ideally, like the sausages. Those are kind of my backup. But you got to make sure they're clean. Low nitrates. Just meat. no ingredients. Salmon, grass-fed beef. Get wild-caught fish, grass-fed beef, free-range poultry, get your eggs. But what else can you have? So a lot of the infographics have these pictures of 30 grams. Here's what it is. Here's an example, 30-gram protein cheat sheet. Greek yogurt, tempeh, shrimp, cottage cheese, chicken, grass-fed steak, tofu, black beans, wild-caught salmon, eggs. Now, I did another episode, as I said, on the plant-based versus animal-based. I'm not anti-plant foods. I'm about 4-day rotation diet, intuitive eating, focus on protein first, that gets that protein goal. But I did some calculations, and they're not pretty if you're trying to get 40, 50 grams of protein with that 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine in that essential amino acid profile. So let's dive into that. Hold on. Okay, so I put all this into a blog post. Tips to get your 30 to 50 grams per meal to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. So head to debbiepotts.net. Try to put all my notes in here. Yes, I looked it up. I did not write this myself, but here's how muscle protein synthesis plays a role in muscle health, building muscle, and longevity. Just to review, muscle health. Regular bouts of exercise, particularly those that activate MPS, are essential for maintaining muscle mass function as we age. As you know, you might be feeling this now. As we get older, our bodies become less efficient at synthesizing muscle proteins, leading to muscle loss and weakness, a condition known as sarcopenia. This is what I'm watching happen to my mom. My dad passed 2 years ago, and I've just seen all these changes. This is what's kind of firing me up for my purpose right now and my mission. So by stimulating MPS through exercise, we can help counteract this age-related decline in muscle mass and function, promoting overall muscle health and mobility. So we want to build muscle. It's crucial for building muscle. We need to eat protein and lift heavy weights. So resistance training, we want to do that a few times a week. This allows muscle fibers to repair and grow larger in response to the stress, acute stress, placed on them during exercise. Plus, consuming adequate amount of protein, rich in essential amino acids as leucine, enhances MPS, facilitating muscle recovery and growth. Now, longevity, everyone keeps talking about VO2 max as the biggest marker. But what about muscle health? What about your lean body mass? Maintaining muscle mass and strength is associated with numerous health benefits. Longevity, stronger the muscles you have, better physical function, balance, mobility, reducing the risk of falls and fractures, which can be detrimental, especially as we age. You hear about that, the percentage a chance of dying if you fall and break your hip as you're older. It's horrible. So we can improve our VO2 max, but we should not neglect improving our muscle strength. It's just as important. If you're going to have good VO2 max, maybe you're doing it riding the bike, but how strong are your legs if you fall? So you have obviously muscular endurance, but do you have muscular strength? So we want to focus on this MPS, muscle protein synthesis, essential for muscle health, building muscle mass, and promoting longevity. So what do you eat? So we know strength training, getting a trainer to help you do it right, because I see a lot of people lifting completely wrong. And by the way, I see too many people scrolling on their social media during the workout, which I think reduces the effectiveness of your workout somehow. And also stimulates, when your brain's all over the place. So you're not focused. So muscle growth, how can you eat? So these lists that you see on these infographics, what I searched for online, my chat GPT, how many calories, what's a serving size, to get 30 to 50 grams of protein that has the right amount of leucine. Remember, we need that 2.5, 2.7, up to 3 grams of leucine in the essential amino profile. You need them all together. So this is all my blog post. So example, chicken breast, 3 ounces. That has 2.5 grams of leucines, about 26 grams of protein. So you need probably 6 ounces of chicken, to get, so double that, because that's going to give you your 50 grams around, right? So turkey, 3 ounces of turkey is 26 grams of protein and 2.5 leucine. So 6 ounces of meat is probably better. Same with salmon. 3 ounces of salmon is 22 grams of protein, leucine 2.7 grams. So double that to get your protein. 6 ounces again of salmon, wild caught, not farm. Don't get farm raised. That stuff's nasty. Tuna. So if you get some wild caught tuna, 3 ounces, 22 grams of protein, 2.5 grams of leucine. Now, Greek yogurt, non-fat or low fat, I don't know what full fat is, but probably the same amount of protein, 23 grams, 120 calories. So I need 1 cup of yogurt, Greek yogurt, to get leucine as the 2.5. So that's pretty good. And you can add maybe some, what can you add? Protein with it. So not everyone could do nuts and seeds, but nuts and seeds that are not filled with vegetable oils, maybe get them raw and roast them yourself and add some sea salt. All right, another dairy one is cottage cheese. 1 cup of cottage cheese gets 2.8 grams of leucine and 28 grams of protein. Then here, this is I looked up. So lentils, they're a big one. That's 1 cup of lentils is only 18 grams of protein. The leucine is only 1.5 grams. So to stimulate MPS, muscle protein synthesis, you need double that. So then you need 2 cups of 2 cups of lentils to get protein in with the right amount of leucine. And that's going to be 460 calories. And who wants to eat 2 cups of lentils? Same with the black beans. All right, and then we have quinoa. Quinoa is not high in leucine. So everyone's saying, oh, quinoa is such a good source of protein. Yes, it has 8 grams, which is not much. Remember, we need 40, 50 grams, at least 30 to 50 grams of protein with the right amount of leucine. So 1 cup of quinoa has 8 grams of protein. Big whip. The calories are 220 calories for 1 cup. But guess what? The leucine in quinoa is only about 0.5 grams. So do the math. If you want to reach 30, 50 grams of protein in a meal coming from quinoa, to get 3 grams of quinoa, or if you're trying to do black beans, let's see, now I got this mixed up. So you have to go back to that. You need about, how many cups? I got this out of order, but to get quinoa, it was 1,000 calories, wherever I put that, to get the right amount of leucine. Oh, here it is. Quinoa, relatively high in calories to other protein sources, so consuming large amount to get the specific nutrient, essential amino acids of leucine. The right dose of proteins, you need 5 cups. 5 cups. Who wants to eat 5 cups? Who can even eat 5 cups of quinoa? Same with black beans. You had to have 2 cups of black beans. So really focusing on nutrient density, not just looking at how many grams of protein. I'm not knocking plant-based. I was a total vegetarian for years. But now I'm focused on getting my enough protein, so I'm going to have my body eat more animal-based protein. So if you want to be plant-based, because a lot of people are scared of animal meat, ideally avoid the factory food because that's the crappy stuff. But you have to really work on hitting your calorie goals with your protein goals and your essential amino acid profile. So those clients that are more plant-based, I do ask them if they want to get supplement as essential amino acids from Body Health or Keon to fill up that void. They're not getting enough. Now, funny, when I do the search for sources of protein to get the leucine threshold and the amino acids, it doesn't show red meat. I don't know why. So beef steak, pork loin, lamb chops, bison, venison, those are other sources of protein that you just need. 3 ounces is 23 grams. So say again, you're going for 6 ounces of meat to get the essential amino acids and the protein you need per meal. Now, if you have that on your plate for a meal, pick your source of protein. Pick your sides if you want a sides. Maybe it's just some olive oil or some ghee or some grass-fed butter and salt, real salt. And you eat slowly. You chew your food 20 times. Maybe you need to take digest enzymes as myself so I can break it down better. Slowly eat, mindfully being in the parasympathetic state. Digest your food properly. Maybe you have some apple cider vinegar in your water with some lemon. So we need to work on what we are eating, how we are eating, why, when, not eating 3 hours before bed, and getting that 12-hour overnight digest rest state, and focusing on nutrient density. So remember, calories do matter, but nutrient density is so I'm getting all that I can get from my food first and the supplement where I'm missing. So overall health, we're getting vitamins and minerals and nutrients we need. Especially as athletes, we need a little more. The more stress we're putting on our body, we break down more vitamin C and B vitamins. We need more magnesium. We need more antioxidants, getting glutathione or precursors to glutathione. So metabolic health matters, getting our blood sugar regulated, our lipid panel, checking out our good essential amino acids. HDL is in LDL, it's not good or bad, but just everything in balance. Insulin isn't good or bad, it's in balance. Glucose, keeping it balanced. So checking your markers, get your blood chemistry panel done every 3-4 months, 6 months max. Don't wait a whole year. So take ownership of your health now, get the right data, get the genetics if you can, and then figure out what you need to be a health optimizer to improve muscle health, metabolic health, and longevity markers if you want to be a fit and healthy aging individual. So learn more on my website, debbiepotts.net. If you want to do some functional lab testing, health investigation, I do more of a holistic approach, working on nutrition and exercise, sleep, stress, digestion, gut health, hydration, mineral balancing, all of that, and adding in functional lab testing and metabolic testing when we can. So check out my information in the blog page. Again, debbiepotts.net, tips to get your 30-50 grams of protein per meal to focus on stimulating your muscle protein synthesis. All right, that was my little rabbit hole today. Hopefully that gives you some good insight on how to choose what you're eating this week and work on your meal prep. Head to Costco or order on Paleo Valley's Wild Pastures, or maybe you do Butcher Box, or maybe you just go to Trader Joe's, Sprouts, find your grocery store, and just make sure you're not getting food that has a label. And do your best to eat clean and get that protein first. Enjoy! Chat soon.
Hey, my fellow aging endurance athletes, just a reminder, if you like what you listened to today, make sure to share this episode with your community. Head to debbiepotts.net to set up a free discovery call to learn more about my personalized coaching programs, especially if you are on a mission as myself to improve the aging process and start training to be my best self when I am 80, 90 years old. So I am on a mission to live my best life and be my best self the second half of my life. So if you're on the same mission as me, head over to my website and YouTube channel to learn more ways to improve the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method.
Thanks for listening to the Low Carb Athlete Podcast. If you have any questions, feedback, or topic suggestions, let us know on Facebook or at debbiepotts.net. You can help us continue and grow by leaving a review on iTunes. Thanks again, and see you next time.